Okay, because okay, so we're going to talk about a presentation and just some things that are required. And Ms. Anna, you're going to have to help me with your steps because I'm going to give them those steps that we went through. Okay. But let me just say this. If you're ready to start doing a presentation, and I don't necessarily mean it has to be a presentation that you do publicly here, because the way your business is going to grow is that you're able to present. You could be one-on-one with somebody, and you could be just using a flip chart. You could print the slides and do a flip chart. That's the old school way of doing stuff. But when you're one-on-one with a person, because realize that everything we do here is about relationship. But I know, I'm almost sure, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, that the biggest drawback, which is what Margaret Dorsey just said, is being comfortable with doing the slides and doing the mechanics and pulling up everything. So what you just watched earlier, Miss Anna do, if you noticed, that was not me driving the car. See, a lot of times we do presentations and we're okay as long as somebody else is doing all the Zoom coming up and pulling it up and clicking. And okay, all you're doing is talking. Well, you're just a backseat driver. I want you to get into the driver's seat, but I want you to feel comfortable there. And I want you, but you got to step out. We'll help you feel comfortable there to the point where you're not terrified. Are you going to be nervous? Of course. Of course you're going to be nervous. You're always nervous your first time, and your second time, and your 50th time maybe. But at some point it becomes comfortable. But you got to step out of the box. Come out the closet. Come on out the closet, y'all. All right. So one of the things that you must do is now I've put into the chat the link for you to download the presentation. Step number 1. Okay, download the presentation. Now, I don't know who's going to be first now or who's going to be ready next week for us to get started with you. And we're going to all watch but you got to, you can't have a thin skin because we're going to help you. It's going to all be done in love to help you understand what I think are the things needed when you're doing a presentation, because it's not just about reading the slides. People know how to read. It's not just about talking with every little single word that's on those slides. Everybody can read. So it's more than that. It's about understanding the slide. Sometimes you gotta, okay, what's the purpose of this slide? And then from the beginning to the end, it's one conversation. It's not this slide, that slide, that slide. No, it's a flow. It's one conversation. And that's what it is. When you're talking to people on, whether it's on a Zoom or a presentation, it's a conversation. And some of you guys do it all the time. I listen to you. I listen to you when you're talking about products. But it's like when I used to work, I used to be a recording engineer. And the moment you hit the record button, folks freeze up. And all of a sudden, you were just singing that song so good. But now the recording button got you all freezing up and you sound like 1, 2, 3, and you were just making it flow. So just be relaxed enough to make a conversation because it's not about perfection. See, sometimes we want to be so perfect. We can't make no mistakes. No. We make mistakes. We mispronounce words. I mean, there are things that will happen because you're a real person. We're not robots. Thank God. That's what lets you know. And hopefully many of you have been encouraged today hearing Miss Anna to know, hey, if she can do it, I can do it. So the first step is to get the presentation. Did everybody see that link that wants to do this? Anybody else, since I've been talking, decide you want to jump on board? So I can write your name down? Unmute and let me know. Because I see a few more people here who ain't said nothing to me. Okay, all right. Oh, Regina saying me. She must be somewhere she can't unmute and talk to me. All right, I got you. I wrote it down. Did you get the link? Well, you probably already had it because I think I've sent it to you before. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. Oh my God. Do you see what this is going to do for our company? If 8 new people are doing presentations, whether it's here or anywhere, that's going to cause your business to grow. So step number 1, get the presentation. Step number 2, go through the presentation. Pull up the presentation in your study time and look at it. And it's okay to make notes. It's okay to get you some index cards so that you know slide 1 is this, slide 2 is this, slide 3 is it. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with, you don't have to come off the top of your head for everything. You can make your little cheat notes to say Dr. Prince. So you know the next slide, next video is going to be Dr. Prince. It's okay to say the wellness experts and make you a note that the next one is going to be a wellness expert until you remember it. See, I've done so many presentations that I know which one is next just by looking at it. But if you don't know that, then make your notes. And over time, the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to become with it. So make your little cheat sheet, whether it's a notebook or index cards or whatever, so that you're not confused, whatever's comfortable for you. There is no right or wrong way to do it. The other thing that I heard Bernadine say the other day, and Melody, you can attest to this if you want to chime in and help us out here, because you've become, I'm calling you, yeah, you have become an expert. You may not be where you can turn on your video, but these transition phrases. So here's the other thing I challenge you to do. Step number 3, pay closer attention the next time you're watching somebody else do a presentation. Because when you decide you're going to do it, you listen differently. You pay attention to things that you didn't focus on before. Before you were just focusing on, you probably were multitasking and just hearing it, but now you focus on the transition phrases, the words that people say between one slide and the next slide. And you don't have to be a clone. Although when I first started, when the company first started, the people that did the presentation were Melissa, Dr. Pat, Dr. Rita, and Phyllis. And the first time I saw the 4 of those ladies do a presentation, I said, I want to do that just like they do it. So what did I do? I wrote it down word for word. Now, the first time I did it, I read those words. But then over time, my own personality took over in it. So you will become who you are and what comes across to you, because no one person can reach everybody. I mean, it's like pastors in a church. Every pastor ain't for everybody. You may go to church somewhere and you say, this is the boringest preacher I ever heard, but he got 50,000 members. Okay, somebody likes it. Or you may go to a church and they squall and they grab their ear and they give you some gravy and you say, woo, that's some good church. And somebody else goes there and said, I don't want none of that. I just want somebody to teach. So I see Melody says I have to practice the transitional phrases. So the way you practice them is you listen to them and then you decide if that works for you, because it still has to be comfortable for you. What do I mean? Does anybody know what I mean by transitional phrases? Somebody unmute and tell me, what do I mean by transitional phrases?
Like the lead-in phrases for the next slide, or what's coming up next, if I'm understanding correctly.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. It's the phrases. Okay, so we're finishing up this slide, and I know that when Dr. Prince comes, I have to say something about him. He is our the person who taught us all about and those kinds of phrases.
Right. Those kind of phrases. So if his slide is coming up, you could say something about, let's hear from Dr. Prince, our naturopath.
Yeah.
You know, you want to say it as if he's right there, as if he's present. Because sometimes when he finishes, I'll say, thank you, Dr. Prince. If he was right here sitting next to me, it just brings a realization to the audience when you're listening to him. Instead of just saying the first word that's on the slide. Because again, people can read. So it gives you a chance to input. And it doesn't have to be long. You're not trying to make it 3 hours long. That's not the whole goal. It's just to give it a smooth movement. So step number 1 is what?
Receive and practice the presentation.
Receive the presentation. Step number 2 is to go through it so you know what the slides are, right? Step number 3 is what?
Study it.
Practice.
Pay
Make
closer
notes.
attention when someone else is presenting.
Watch some other presentations. Watch the next Saturday, when you hear Bernadine and Melody come on and Denise Hill, people that are on her team that she's worked with. Watch what they do, and you'll notice none of us do it the exact same way. But we all say the same content because everybody has a personality. Okay? Because I'm always wanting to make people laugh about something, you know, and relate to something that's personal to me. My testimony is different from Bernadine's testimony. And when she comes across, she brings about great points that maybe somebody else doesn't bring because that's her testimony. So it's okay to use that. Listen on Sundays, when they do the flat belly, that's a different presentation. It's a different presentation. And we want it to be a different presentation because it's centered on the flat belly lifestyle. The Saturday presentation is focused on the whole Akana concerning CBD, concerning flat belly, concerning products that we have, concerning the compensation plan, is to let a person know everything about Akana. On the wellness experts, that's a different kind of presentation. It's focused on certain products that Dr. Betty brings to us. Okay, so join those and see the difference in how people do it. And there's no right or wrong. It's just being yourself and being comfortable. So watch somebody else's presentation. All right, so after you do all of that, then you're ready to come here. To come here on one of these Saturdays, and we'll see who's going to be ready by next Saturday. And I think, Meridian, I need your phone number. I don't have your phone number. I got everybody else's phone number on this list.
Okay, 773-213-4961.
4961. I got it now. All right. So we'll see who's going to be ready for next week. Now, I'm going to give you the first, 8 steps, Miss Anna? You're muted.
To bringing up the slide, getting ready to do the slides.
To do a presentation, the steps that I gave you.
Okay.
How many of them is it?
I have 12, but.
Okay, you got 12 steps. Okay, you got 12 steps. So let's see. And there's really 13 because I thought about one when you were doing it today that I need to add to that step. So first, step number 1 is what?
Open your slide presentation.
Okay, so the very first step. Now, this is steps to get ready to do a presentation. Step number 1, on your computer, open up the presentation. So you don't have to look for it. So you don't have to find it once you're getting ready to start. You have not started yet. You're on your computer. You just raised your computer up. You cut the power on and you got your presentation saved somewhere. Hopefully it's in a folder called presentations. So you don't have to, oh, where's that presentation? create a folder that says presentations, Akana presentations, because you're going to have multiple presentations at some point, because you're going to be able to do all of our presentations, right? So create you a folder that says presentations. You just downloaded it for many of you, but you probably didn't pay attention to where you saved it. I'm just saying, right? So open it up. It's a PowerPoint. Double click it and open it up. It's going to look like it's a PowerPoint. It's going, matter of fact, let me show you what it's going to look like. It should look like something like this. It should look something like this, with slides over here on the left-hand side and slideshow up here at the top, and file, home, and insert. That's inside the PowerPoint. This is not how you're going to show it, but that's what it should look like. Okay. So that's step number one, open it up. Step number two is what?
Bring up your Zoom.
Open up your Zoom. You should have Zoom on your computer. It's better to have Zoom, they call it the Zoom client. That's when you've got the little blue Zoom sitting somewhere on your desktop and you can just double click it. It's usually easier to have that, because then you can just put the number in there to join, or you may go to the website. But it's easier just to have that Zoom client, and you can go to zoom.us and it'll say to download that Zoom client. So hopefully you have that because you're on here now. You probably already have Zoom. So that's the next step. Double click and open up Zoom. All right. What's the next step?
Everybody may not have this problem, but
No, this
adjust,
is the next step. This is the next step. Yes. No.
adjust your camera so
is
your
something
whole
everybody
face can
needs.
be seen.
That's right. Step number 3 is adjust your camera. Adjust your camera so that we can see. I don't want to see this. If you don't want to see your whole body, then let me see your face. Okay? Adjust your camera. Now, if you don't have, I have an external camera attached to my Zoom, my computer, but some of you are using the camera that came with your laptop or your tablet or whatever you're using. So then you may have to adjust it by moving the top of your laptop, but mainly adjust it because whatever you see is what they see. Okay? So if you don't pay attention to that and everybody's just looking at the top of your head, or maybe everybody's just looking at your breasts, okay, we got to make sure people seeing the right thing. So adjust your camera. All right. What's next?
Share screen.
Okay, so before we do that step, let's back up. Now this is step number what?
4.
4. I'm going to insert something here. Another step. You've opened up your Zoom. I want you to go, and I taught this in the Zoom training, but I need you to go over, I need you to click participants so you can see a list of everybody that's coming in, because you're the host. You're welcoming people. You're thanking the guests for coming in, and you need to be able to see that list. That list should be over on the right-hand side of your screen. So now you're being able to, and let me add to this, show up early. Okay, be there 15 minutes before it's time for you to perform, because you may have early guests. So don't get there 1 minute before it's showtime and you're ready to go, because something can go wrong, guys. Internet can mess up. It's natural. All kind of stuff just happens unexpectedly. So show up early, but click participants so you can see the participants, all the names of the people coming in. So this is the next step, and this is a multiple step. Once you do that, at the bottom of the participants, there are 3 dots. And those 3 dots you should click and check mark Mute participants up on entry. Mute participants up on entry. That prevents people from jumping on, unmuted, and just starting to talk, and they don't know it's stuff going on in the background. So this is a step that should take place every single time you do a presentation. Mute participants on entry. And if you notice, when you jumped on here, you're already muted. And a lot of times I'll be on somebody else's presentation and I go click that step for them. Because when people jump on, they're sometimes already unmuted. And sometimes they don't even know it. So click the three dots, but you got to click participants first, put them on the right-hand side, click the three dots underneath all the list of the participants, and it may just be you when you start, okay? Click those three dots and click mute participants up on entry. Everybody got that? All right, now we're back to your list. And did you add that one in there? So that was
Yes.
number 4. Okay, so now we're number 5, right?
Yes.
Number 5, what is number 5?
Share the screen.
So at the bottom, there's a green button that says share screen. That's your next step, share screen. Now, when you click share screen, a window is going to come up. And it's got other little small windows inside it, but small squares. And one of them is going to be your presentation. So you first click share screen, and then the next step is
Quick presentation so everyone can see slides.
so it's the presentation, because you've already opened it. Remember, that was back when I told you to open it before you even open up your Zoom. Now you're going to see that presentation in one of those windows, and you have to click it. By clicking it, means you're going to highlight it. It's going to have a bar, I think it's a blue bar, that's going to be around it, okay?
Yes.
Once you click it, what's the next step?
Click share Sam.
So you're going to click share sound. Share sound is going to be over on the right-hand side. That's so that we can hear your video. How many ever been on a presentation and somebody played the video and you said, we can't hear it, we can't hear it, we can't hear it. And it's just because they forgot to click and put a check in the box for share sound. All right? What's next?
Then you're going to click blue share in the lower right corner.
And then once you click your presentation, your share sound, in the bottom right-hand corner is another button that says share. That's what pushes all of this for the viewer to be able to see the presentation. You're now live. Up until now, nobody's seen anything you're doing until you click this last button. Now you're live. All right, now that you're live, you've got this window open and it's the presentation you're looking at. It's still in the software. You've got a bar going across the top that has a lot of controls. It's called a control panel or a toolbar. And you might even see pictures of other people who are on, who have their cameras on. And a lot of times, all of that gets in your way. The toolbar is in the way, the people seeing them, and you got to move them around. And I watch people move them around. Oh, excuse me, let me move this around because I can't see. Well, we're going to eliminate that. What's the next step?
You're going to click more, three dots, the three dots above more, and you're going to click hide the panel, hide the video panel.
In that control bar, there are 3 dots on the right-hand end of it. You're going to click those 3 dots, and you'll see choices. And one of those choices is hide floating toolbar or floating control panel. I forget which name it says.
Floating control panel.
Floating control panel. That removes that bar so that you can see the top of your screen or the bottom of your screen or wherever it is. That's the next step. Then the next step is what?
You're going to click the slideshow twice at the top of the page. But before you do that, you're going to click before you do that, you're gonna click, well, I've got record in the.
Nope,
It's another one, I'm trying to think.
video panel. It's hide
Video.
video.
Yes,
You gotta hide the control. It was before the toolbar, wasn't it?
right.
You didn't say it.
The video panel,
Yeah.
you do the video panel, then you do the floating control, bar.
Okay, so let's put the steps in order. The first one that you hide is the video panel. That's where you see my picture, her picture, other folks' pictures, whoever has their video. It's in your way. Click those three dots and hide them. Then click the same three dots and then hide the toolbar. Now you've got a clean slate, so you don't have nothing obstructing your view. Guess what? Nobody else sees that. That's just in your way. It's obstructing your view of the presentation. So the best thing to do is hide it. All right. Now what's next?
I've got a memo that, and this is just for myself, but I don't know if it comes up later. It's where you click escape to bring that control bar back, because you also have to click in there to click record.
Okay, so, but that's not where we are.
Okay, then I've got click slideshow twice at the top of the page. And a red line will appear under it.
Okay, so now you're looking at your presentation. You've removed the video panel, you've removed the floating control bar, and you're looking at your presentation as I showed a few minutes ago. And it says slideshow. If it may say just home. So you click slideshow and it'll have a line under it letting you know it's been clicked. When you click slideshow, now you can go over to the left. You don't have to click it twice. You just click it one time, and then you go from the beginning. So now you're getting ready to start that presentation from the beginning. So let me go over that again. Your presentation is there. More than likely, the line is going to be under home, because when it opens up, that's where it is. Click slideshow. There'll be a line underneath it. Then go to the left-hand side and click from the beginning. And now your presentation will become full screen. You're about ready to start. But there's one more step. What's that step?
Gonna bring the control bar back up so you can click record.
So as she said, you have to hit escape because you can't see the control bar anymore. So if you hit escape, ESC, which is in the top left-hand corner of your keyboard, it'll bring it back so you can just see it temporarily. And then you go over to those three dots and record. A lot of times people forget to hit record. Why do I wait so late to say hit record? Because I didn't want to record all this other stuff you were doing. I only want to record when you're ready to start. Okay? We want to record when you're ready to say, good morning, my name is so-and-so and so-and-so. And then at that point, you're doing the presentation. And from these steps are the preparation for getting ready to start your presentation. And then whoever's turn it is next week, then we'll start after this point, because you'll have this part down. Because everything I just gave you can practice on your own with your own Zoom account, which you should have. Even the 40-minute free one. No excuse, because it's free. Any questions? Anybody else need the link? It's in the chat. If you hadn't got the link yet for the presentation itself.
Dr. Rod, everything we need to know is in the presentation that you sent us.
Everything you need to know. When you tell me what you mean by that.
Well, all the training that we need to know how to make the presentations, the preparations.
Okay, so I still don't know exactly what you're asking me. The words to say, or what? The presentation is the slides. That's all the presentation is.
Okay, are there steps in there that you just went through?
No,
Okay.
no, this is recorded, so this will be available to us in the deep dive section of our app.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, these steps will definitely be, I'll download this and put it in the app, and you just go to deep dive go to training, the training section of your app, and this
Yes.
recording will be there. Yes,
All
sir.
right. All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dr. Roz, for all this information and everything, clarification. And I'm sorry, but I have to jump off.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you to you and Miss Anna today. I appreciate you
Absolutely.
both.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording. So